had a dramatic start. The commentator was Jimmy McGee.
Pat Horan in charge of the match today. Kilkenny, of course, the odds-on favourites. Lester Ryan inside the tackle, chance of the first score. And there it is. Big Christy Heffernan was up there with a flick on. There's the cross again from Lester Ryan. And watch the blue helmeted figure of Christy Heffernan from Glenmore. And Sean Greville was beaten. A goal within the first minute, and Kilkenny on the way. Ger Fennelly looking for Lester Ryan again. In again towards Big Christy. He's got it in the hand, and he's got it in the net, and it's another green flag. 2 goals for Christy Heffernan, and the game has hardly begun. Again, Lester Ryan was the man who supplied the ammunition. And if you give ammunition like that to Christy Heffernan, there's only one consequence. Westmeath's right half back here is Pat O'Brien from Castletown Gagan. And that's a good-looking strike indeed. Richie Shaw in there, and it's another goal. A game of goals really in this Leinster quarter-final, and a day for the full forwards. And that all began with a very good free on the far side by wing-back Pat O'Brien. And as it came in, there was Richie Shaw, just with the gentlest of flicks forward, number 14. Good catch there by Thomas McCluskey. Of course, Lester Ryan leaves it for Liam Egan. Egan getting away from the challenge of Pat Clancy. Looks a good delivery, and it's a good point by Liam Egan. But again, that was made by a little bit of astute defending by Thomas McCluskey, playing very well at centre-back. Ger Jackson in possession, losing out to Ronan. Picked up here by Anthony Prendergast, feeding into Christy Heffernan. What a goal! What a marvellous goal! That's the man who hit it in there, Anthony Prendergast, but I think when we see it again, you'll find the impressive, imposing figure of Christy Heffernan had a lot to do with that. Prendergast made the initial incision, but how about this for deadly finishing? All the way towards Christy Heffernan again. He's got it in the hand. Where does he put it after that? Well, how about a point? 3 goals and 1 point for Christy Heffernan. Kilkenny's grand total is 3-6. But what a power performance by the full forward. Meantime, Sean Kilcoyne trying to get it in. Sean Fennelly completes the clearance. Into that space goes Anthony Prendergast. Adrian Ronan comes to pick it up, looks for the posts, finds the target. One umpire looks at the other, and a nod's as good as a wink. Adrian Ronan, number 13, the scorer. Here's Johnny McManus. Pat O'Brien unable to get contact with it. Lester Ryan flicks it to a totally unmarked Liam Fennelly. It's demoralised Westmeath as Fennelly locks another one over. 6 Kilkenny men have scored. Kilkenny themselves have got 3-8. The tide is one way, and Westmeath look demoralised. Sean Fennelly. Matt Kennedy here. Declan Weir out underneath it. Started at full-back. Ger Fennelly in goes the stick there of John Coyne, and it's a goal for Westmeath, and how they could do with that one. It was Declan Weir, now playing at full forward, and made the cross. Fennelly couldn't make contact. John Coyne could. 2 goals for Westmeath. Maybe it'll be a morale booster, unless Anthony Prendergast spoils the celebrations and gets his first score of the game. It's worth remembering as the second half begins that such as Willie Lowry, Tommy Doyle, Brian McCabe, Mick Cosgrove, Michael Daly and Pat Dalton, all in New York and playing in the championship there today, would almost certainly be first choices on this Westmeath team. It's a strange state of affairs. Ger Jackson's long, high ball and a great flick on by it low, and Kevin Fennelly couldn't keep it out. And Westmeath with a perfect start, David Kilcoyne in the picture. But it was Ger Jackson who knocked it in. You'll find that John Coyne was pretty prominent as that one came in. Getting the flick onto it. Fennelly got it out, and David Kilcoyne was in to apply the finish. Here's Tom O'Keefe. Good break by the Kilkenny man, very good break. Getting away from Pat Clancy. Good play there at the back by Westmeath, and it's Ger Jackson, the almost inevitable, who clears it away. Well fielded by Sean Kilcoyne. But Thomas McCluskey with the interception. McCluskey to Ronan. Ronan looks for the score, gets the score, and it's his 5th of the game. 5 points for Adrian Ronan, the young corner forward. Here's Christie now, further afield. Hardly has broken a sweat in the second half, I think. Tom O'Keefe. Ger Fennelly. Adrian Ronan. Oh, take it out. What a goal. Hit with great ferociousness by Adrian Ronan. It was a good move. One of the best moves of the second half. Christy Heffernan was early in it, then Ger Fennelly. Ger Fennelly to Adrian Ronan. How about this for finish? Not even a Greville in form could stop that one. The referee calls for the ball. Pat Horan, the referee, giving us a final score of Kilkenny 4-29. Westmeath 3 goals and 5 points. 10 Kilkenny men scored in the match, but one player in particular, Adrian Ronan, scored 1 goal and 10 points to be the day's top scorer.
Well, so then a 27-point victory for Kilkenny, and a result that will obviously do little to encourage hurling in Westmeath. Well, Donald O'Grady kept an expert eye on that game for us, and after the match, he spoke to Ger Canning.
In the end, Donald, it was a very, very comprehensive win for Kilkenny, but sure, everyone expected that in any case. What were your views of the match?
Well, Ger, I think coming up here, it was obviously that Kilkenny were going to win. You know, I don't think that Westmeath themselves expressed much hope. I think they were trying to put up a good show, but after the first few minutes when Kilkenny rattled in a couple of goals, I think it was all over after that.
What should happen to the Westmeaths of this world, who frankly go into matches like this almost with little or no hope?
Well, I made a point a few years ago, and I got a bit of stick for it, but I think that really they're out of their depth really at this level, and I think that maybe somebody should think up a scheme whereby rather than have a 2-tier championship in All-Ireland and All-Ireland B, maybe they should have a middle-of-the-road thing, and I suggested that a few years ago, where the teams that are not so weak could go in and get a bit of experience, and I think that would do Westmeath great good. They have cause for concern really, I suppose, because the immigration has taken a vast toll in their numbers, and 6 or 7 of their best players I think have gone to the States, so that's not a problem for them. But that's not likely to be resolved because of the economic situation anyway in the near future.
Well, I'm not too sure if any Westmeath player earned your man of the match, but who did you give it to?
Well, I was impressed by a number of players really. John Powell, Kilkenny hurled very well. Ger Jackson for Westmeath, I think, kept them together, but I gave it to Adrian Ronan, the right corner forward for Kilkenny.
He scored a total, I think, of 1 goal and 10 points, a fine contribution, and an excellent young player.
That's right, he impressed me all through really. He came out to the ball very well, and once he put down the hurley, his first touch was excellent, and he used the ball well when it came. I don't think he wasted anything, and I was very impressed with him.
How do you see the championship going for the rest of the season, Donald?
Well, in Leinster, obviously, I think it will come down again to maybe the Wexford-Kilkenny rivalry. I think that either of them should win the Leinster Championship. I think if Wexford get over Kilkenny, I don't think they'll be caught like they were last year. I think that Wexford would probably win it if they beat Kilkenny. Munster, I think Tip are head and shoulders over everybody again at this stage, and obviously Galway and Antrim again.
And the All-Ireland final pairing, first of all?
Well, obviously the Munster champions will meet Connacht and Leinster versus Antrim. So it's obviously going to be the winners of, we'll say, Galway and Tip to meet probably. I'd nearly go for Wexford at this stage, you know, to come out of Leinster, and probably Galway again.
So pick a winner. Is it Galway 3 in a row?
Well, they have the talent. If they can keep it going, I think no problem.
Well done.
Yes, well, Donal O'Grady's view of the match, plus his man of the match selection there. Well, now let me turn to my studio guest, Joe Connolly. Joe, your first Sunday game analysis, but to be honest, in that game there wasn't an awful lot to analyse.
It was a very bad game, Mike. Totally one-sided from the beginning, and there's no comparison between the class of the two teams, really. It was a mismatch completely.
Now, Donal O'Grady, a couple of years ago here on the Sunday game, got into a bit of hot water by saying that Westmeath didn't even deserve to be in the championship. Now, it might have been harsh words at the time, but who knows, he may not have been that too far wrong.
I think it was the right point to make. What was most disappointing about Westmeath, actually, was they were outclassed on the day of the game by the good scores Kilkenny got and everything. But they had a very bad attitude to it, and before and during and all that, they didn't seem to be too interested in the proceedings at all. Completely big gulf in class between the teams, but made worse by the preparation for it, I think.
Well, Aidan Ronan we just saw there a moment ago, but this is another example really of the difference between the sides and the kind of hurling they put in.
That's Kilkenny doing the simple things well. Aidan Ronan from a long clearance by Thomas McCluskey, banging it over the bar. Here, a long range free, I think it'll be about to grab by Christy Heffernan.
That's right. Just 2 touches and the ball
immediately
is over the bar.
takes responsibility and hand pass it over the bar. Just the simple things well, but are prepared to take it on themselves, which is very important.
Yeah. One thing that disappointed me about Westmeath and their approach to this game was Jimmy McGee said in the commentary a lot of the players arrived late today. During the week we saw interviews where Westmeath could only muster up, I think, 9 people for training, and there was a lot of apathy about their approach to this game.
Well, they have a lot of excuses, but nothing could excuse 8 or 9 turn up at training with Dinny McCormick training them. Here we see the subs at half time, and if you look at the fella second from left there, takes a drag out of his fag, you know, which doesn't say much. That's terrible in a league club game, not to mind in the Leinster Championship. So that for me summed up really the attitude Westmeath had told, which is very bad, and the competition deserves more than that. You know, whatever about how good or bad they are, it deserves a more serious approach by them anyway.
One last brief comment on this one, Joe. Can you see Kilkenny go on to win Leinster?
I have a feeling that as Donal said, if Wexford get their thing together this year, I think they really have a good chance of coming out of Leinster. But if Kilkenny are not winning this year, they're certainly within a year or two winning, like, because there's a new breed of dangerous forwards coming through there, typified today by Adrian Ronan. So they're very close to another victory, but it might be another year or two.
OK, Joe, we'll talk to you again later on. But right now we're going to take a commercial break.